There's a sort of, how should I put it, uh, a way of giving a basic statement or support to what philosophy is, which runs, and at the same time, why it must be asked. Like as though to say, here's a question, is there a difference between primary and secondary qualities? Um, Secondary quality, supposedly color. I could see the same thing which someone with a different sensorium or including of the it's a funny thing actually that since I'm just speaking off the cuff, let's go into this for just 1 second. Um, there's a Philip Seymour Hoffman movie where there's a thing, it's doing an advertising bit as I'm programmed to do. But it's somewhat interesting, I suppose, and the Criterion Collection app, where you could look at the Philip Seymour Hoffman films, and then one of them is like he goes to a doctor that first he goes to an optometrist, I guess, or an ophthalmologist, somebody that's dealing with the physical eye directly, and basically focus on the lens, right? The type of person that would do the I believe, if I'm not misinformed, do laser surgery, which is fairly common these days. But then he's told, I forget exactly how the injury happens, but then he's told, oh, you might need to see a neurologist, or I forget if it's a neurologist or some other specialist. And then the doctor says, a Jewish doctor says, yeah, the eye and the brain are the same thing. And then, he's like, that doesn't sound right. So this is that indicates that the depth of this problem, this type of problem with the primary and secondary qualities. Is the color already a quality of the thing itself, of the object, or is it just what appears to us? It's a shape. So I suppose Descartes wanted to say the shape was the most reliable thing. So then what I'm saying is, it seems like one has to pursue that question because it's so confusing and at the same time so compelling a question that it can't simply be ignored for the sake of practical life. And then there's a brand of like I was saying, a sort of explanation for why philosophy exists, which is sort of a Oxbridge type explanation, which is, oh, these questions, maybe it's not, maybe it's more of a Plato type of explanation, I guess. Maybe it has a broader application. These are the problems that constantly recur, and there seem to be it seems like if you would pose it correctly and ask most anyone, they would say, yeah, it seems like at least somebody should be thinking about that because it seems like a real question. And this alongside with other things, such as questions like this Wittgenstein questions about Napoleon, or so, like, if Napoleon's dead, how can I be speaking about Napoleon? But probably the more naive form is like, why is it that I can't talk to Napoleon while he's dead? What does it mean that he's dead? And then some explanation is given, etc., etc. What is it that prevents one from talking to a dead person, and what are all the conditions involved? And then it seems like, even though this is a child's question, at the same time it involves things that are unclear as soon as we start to probe into them. There's some question of the decomposition of the body, and can the body be recomposed, and why is it that it doesn't work to simply recompose the matter, etc., etc. Many other questions arise that seem to be in some way serious, even just simply for showing us dead ends, the things that don't work. The world doesn't work that way. And then all these different kinds of ways of saying, here's ways that the world doesn't work. And should we maintain this view? And the philosophers become keepers of that type of thing. So one problem with this view is then that there's suddenly incursions of new issues into philosophy, such as what is time, which we could show don't exist in many peoples many times, such as the newer people, as Evans Pritchard says, and all kinds of other questions come in. But well, that's just one attempt to try to found and say why philosophy continues to be ongoing concern.